What's going on, Lakers fans? Noah Cameras here, and welcome to the free agency mega preview on Lakers 248 podcast roundtable. As always, here I'm joined by Mr. Noel Sanchez at Noise by Noel. Follow him on every social media platform. He also writes for alllakers.com on Sports Illustrated. And to my right, another esteemed expert of Sports Illustrated is alllakers.com. We have Alex Kirschenbaum. Welcome back to the set, Alex. And guys, free agency, a little over 48 hours away from now. The Lakers have a lot going on. We're going to go through all of it, from the restricted free agents, unrestricted free agents, team options, and then who else they could potentially target. So we're going to start with a little overview of what we're dealing with right now. Right now, the Lakers have 5 guaranteed contracts plus another rookie in Maxwell Lewis. So they got LeBron at $47.6 million, AD at $40.6 million, Jared Vanderbilt, who they just exercised his option reportedly, at $4.7 million. Then you got Jalen Hood-Schifino, the rookie, at $3.7 million. Max Christie, last year's rookie, at $1.7 million. And then there's going to be Maxwell Lewis, who will probably be a little less than that $1.7 million because he went 5 picks later than Christie went last year. So that's who they're dealing with right now. Then you look at what's next. Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura, those guys are restricted free agents. They got the qualifying offer yesterday, which means the Lakers can match any offer sheet that comes those guys' way. And, you know, they probably will. We'll get into that later. Then you go to the team option. You got Malik Beasley at a $16.5 million club option. Definitely going to be a topic of conversation. Mo Bamba has a $10.3 million non-guaranteed contract. The Lakers have until tomorrow to guarantee it. So will they guarantee that? We'll discuss. And then you got the free agents, D'Angelo Russell, who they have the bird rights to, Lonnie Walker IV, Dennis Schroeder, Troy Brown Jr., Tristan Thompson, and Wendy and Gabriel. You got to mention Tristan. He's on there. And then there's also Scottie Pippen Jr., who's on the restricted two-way deal. He's on a two-way deal, restricted free agent. Okay, so that's our overview of just what the Lakers have going on. So let's start at the top there with Mr. Austin Reeves. A lot of talk about Reeves right now. How much is he going to get on an offer sheet? How much are the Lakers going to give him? Will they match no matter what? Noel, I'm going to start with you. Do you expect the Lakers to match any offer sheet that comes Austin Reeves' way? And how much do you think that will get up to?
I think teams are definitely going to test them. I think we saw what Austin Reeves was able to do in the playoffs for the Lakers. And I mean, he pretty much was as good as you can ask a third option behind LeBron James and Anthony Davis to get. Over the course of the entire playoffs, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 44% from 3. And even in the four-game sweep against the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals, 21 points, 5 assists, and 56% from 3. That is the type of play that you want from a third option. I mean, he wasn't drafted, but seeing the polish that he has right now, seeing the way that he can handle the pressure, and seeing the way he's connected with the fan base, they have to match any contract. Anywhere from $80 to $100 million, you have to get that deal done. He has earned it. And I guarantee you that the aura and the energy that was on this Lakers squad this season will not be the same if he's not back next year.
Because you're saying match anything, 80 to 100.
Match
Alex, same question to you. Do they match anything? And is there an amount that you think would be too high to match for Austin Reeves?
There is not. I totally agree. They should keep him, whatever the cost. Through a weird salary cap quirk, they can only offer him $50 to $52 million, depending on exactly where the cap lines up for next season. However, another team can offer him up to, I believe, $98.7 million. That number could change a little bit, closer to 100. But I think that they should sign him to that. He's an exciting talent. He's 25. Those averages in the playoffs feel legit because it was against 3 really competitive teams. He also looked much better once he moved into the starting lineup. I think that, I don't know if he's going to be, he could be a fringe, like one-time all-star kind of talent, like that's what he is, and you got to keep him.
Okay, so you're both on the no matter what, keep Austin Reeves train, which I think a lot of Laker fans will agree with. You saw what he did in the playoffs last year. You saw his clutch gene. He's someone you trust with the ball in his hands, and he seems like someone who should be a part of this Lakers core for the foreseeable future.
Yep.
Let's go to the other restricted free agent, Mr. Rui Hachimura.
Rui Hachimura, that's
great
right
player. He had an insane postseason run, especially a few games with a lot of scoring and really like a huge punch, that mid-range shot. Not the same, I'd say, level of need in terms of how Laker fans feel in terms of Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura, but definitely someone Laker fans want to bring back. So, Noel, I'm going to you. Same question. Do you think the Lakers match any offer sheet for Rui, or do you think there's a place that's too high?
See, I think it's really interesting with Rui just because, I mean, like you said, he came into the NBA and he was viewed as a lottery pick level talent, and he wasn't able to really find that with the Washington Wizards. And coming into the Lakers at first, we were not really too sure if he was actually going to be a part of our future. We saw the way he kind of struggled finding energy, finding a place on the team. I know you were very, very critical of him at first, Noah, but I mean, he needed some DMPs in order to really kickstart him. And I mean, the Lakers, they can offer him a deal around 5 years worth around $33 million. In the first year, that would be very, very a whole lot for him. So, I mean, if you're getting into like that superstar level pay for him or even star level, I think that's kind of where you draw the line. But I think that he recognizes what he was able to find in LA. They gave him a chance. They traded for him. So, yeah, I do think that with him, there is more of a line that you need to draw, and you can't just fully go out and say we need him. But, I mean, behind Austin Reeves, I think he's the number 2 like priority in free agency right now.
All right, I'm sending that over to you, Mr. Alex. Is there a price that's too high for Rui? And if so, what would that be? Or are they just matching anything again?
I think that the Lakers kind of overvalued their own incumbent free agents a lot of the time, so I think they'll probably match up to like $25 million a year, something crazy, which I don't think they should do. I think they should stop at about $18 million a year because there are other free agent power forwards on the market that could kind of give you comparable value. Kyle Kuzma, our old pal, is on the market. Jeremy Grant, Harrison Barnes, Grant Williams is a restricted free agent, but I don't think the Celtics are going to match.
Yeah, not with Porzingis there anymore.
Yeah. So I think he'd be available at like, I don't know, less, $12 million a year, like less than. I think Hachimura's market is probably like 13 to 20. Realistically. Yeah.
All right, so let's go to the comments really quickly. Craig Osterberg in the stream, he said for Austin Reeves, he wants $11 million a year, and then for years 1 and 2, and then $25 to $38 million for years 3 and 4.
That's how it would work if they had to match somebody.
So that's what he said on Reeves, and then for and then also Craig Osterberg for Rui said 15 to 20 million a year. That kind of feels like the pocket he's going to be in. Also, we've got LA Sports Report in the stream. Free agency starts on Friday. Craig Osterberg asked what time? 6 Eastern time, 3 Pacific. We're thinking about going live when free agency drops. So tell all your friends, Craig, we're going to be here.
Make sure you tune in.
Make sure you tune in too. But I want to ask one more question just to kind of wrap up the Reeves and Rui predictions. How much is Rui going for? How much is Reeves Rui and Reeves. How much is Rui going for? How much is Reeves going? If you gotta, put a number out there.
Okay. All right. See, I'm looking at Reeves. I think Reeves is going to go somewhere around probably a total of $85 million.
Okay, so
I don't
like
think it's
485.
Yeah, I don't. See, the thing is with the Houston Rockets, they're looking at a number of players. I think they're the one team that would really go out there and give Austin Reeves that massive contract, even up to $100 million. But now reports come out that they're looking at Father Fred for 2 years, $80-something million. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Austin Reeves probably making $85 million total. And then looking at Rui, I'm probably going to roll with he's going to end up getting, like Alex said, between $18 to $20 million a year, hopefully over the span of 4 to 5 years. That would be the most ideal situation for him.
Coming over to you, Alex, you got some predictions on what Reeves might get, what Rui might get, and when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I think Reeves is going to get maxed out. Not only do you have the Rockets, you also have the Pistons and the Spurs that could offer him a lot, and he would fit them great. So I think he's going to get like whatever that final number ends up being, like 98 to 100 million bucks. And the Lakers should match it. And then Rui, I'm guardedly optimistic that the market for him is kind of cooled. So I kind of think if the Lakers can get him for $15 million, that would be perfect. Also, like, is he even the starting power forward when the season tips off? Like, or is it Jared Vanderbilt? I don't know. I think Rui outplayed him in the playoffs, but Vanderbilt gives you more defense.
In terms of fit.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you're having that offensive. I mean, that starting lineup with a lot of offense. Vanderbilt really showed that he could be a really nice player, and if he can work on that jump shot a little bit and make some of those open corner threes, he could definitely. I mean, that 4.7 is going to be a steal.
And I think there's a world where Rui could kind of be in the 6th man of the year conversation.
Yeah,
next year.
exactly.
If Vanderbilt gets that starting role, I think that would be something to look out for.
I agree. Let's move on to the club option. This is a very interesting talking point. Mr. Malik Beasley, like I said, $16.5 million club option. Lakers have until tomorrow to make that decision. Now, here's the thing. He's not worth $16.5 million. We know that. We saw what happened. He fell out of the rotation at the end of the year. However, the Lakers do want to retain their assets. This is an asset that could be tradable at some point. 16.5 is high, but it's still a tradable asset. I mean, he's a 3-and-D on an expiring deal. So there is the idea to retain that asset. But the other one is, that's a lot of money to pay to someone that you don't really see being in the rotation. Then again, the Lakers only have 6 players right now. So it can go either way. If the Lakers are planning on operating as an above-the-cap team, it's a no-brainer to retain everyone. Yeah. If they want to try to get under the cap, which is technically possible by letting go of Beasley, letting go of Bamba, and then not re-signing D'Lo, they could get under the cap, then there's a reason to not bring back Beasley. So, Noel, what do you think the Lakers do with Beasley? in terms of picking up the option, then what do you think that means for the rest of his free agency?
Yeah, I mean, unless you have like some sort of big name free agent, some sort of superstar handshake deal under the table right now that we don't know about, I think you definitely need to bring back Beasley, because a shooter on an expiring deal like that is definitely going to be up for trade later on in the season, whether it be 3-4 months. I think he kind of did get some cold feet. He got nervous once he came to LA and his numbers dropped drastically. Before, he was a top 10 shooter in the league in that first half of the season. And then once he got to LA, it just completely changed. And the Lakers kept trying and trying because they had traded for him, and then he fell out of the rotation come playoff time. So I think you get him back in, hopefully get some big minutes again at the beginning of the season. You bring him back on the team. You hope that he's able to kind of find his way. If he doesn't, that's when you kind of look into the trade market. But I think it's pretty much a no-brainer unless you have some sort of handshake deal, like I said.
Yeah, before I go to you, Alex, we got Matt Levine, another writer for All Lakers in the stream. He says, exercise the Beasley option, trade him as a salary dump later if you want. With the new CBA, $16 million will be highly valued on expiring deal. That's a great point. He said, if anything, maybe he plays lights out on the expiring deal and the Lakers get the three-point shooter that they hoped they would get in the deal, and if not, you trade him. Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, he still has that talent.
Yep.
You know, he didn't show it at the end of last year. He struggled in the postseason, but he is still a 3-and-D, a really good shooter. So, you know, asset management is an important thing. Alex, what do you think about that Malik Beasley option?
I don't love him as a defender. That was part of the reason that Troy Brown Jr. hopped ahead of him by the second round there. In the first round, let's look at his three-point shooting number. Let's look at his scoring numbers at all. 4.2 points on 29.2% shooting from the field, 26.3% from deep on 3.2 attempts. He made 100% of his one free throw attempt a game. So, you know, I don't know. Like, I just don't, you know, there's a reason that like Lonnie Walker and Troy Brown Jr. supplanted him in the rotation in the postseason. He's not an amazingly efficient three-point shooter anymore. He is a volume three-point shooter. Last season, he made 35.7% on 8.1 attempts. So that, so he loves to chuck.
Yeah, he does. He's a high volume guy.
Yeah, so like I don't know. I do think as a salary dump and for some flexibility in a trade, if you think you can get value for him later in the season, someone that wants to like clear up some space for like next summer or something like that, then maybe he's worth retaining more so than Bamba at least.
Yeah.
So it's worth thinking about, but you can replace him for like a minimum contract, and I don't know. I think that guy might be better, you know. So I don't know. I don't love keeping him.
All right, so we gotta keep him, keep that asset. We got maybe don't. We're gonna go to our producer buddy, my buddy Ricardo Buddy Sandoval. But I want to get back to you on the Reeves and Rui stuff later. But I want to ask you about this Malik Beasley $16.5 million option.
Yeah, I think it would be best for them to keep him. You could always just dump that later on in the season. Maybe once the trade deadline comes, maybe get some young pieces, maybe get some draft picks for him. So I wouldn't hate the idea of them picking up that option, keeping him throughout the season, and then, you know, we'll see what he got. I mean, maybe the playoffs were too bright for him, right? We'll see if he could maybe go back to that 35, 36. That volume shooting is going to be a concern, obviously, when you have LeBron and AD on the floor with him. Also, too, if you add in Austin Reeves as well, he's gonna be having the ball a lot. But you know, I mean, might as well just see what he has, and then maybe if he does have a good year, then you get him for a really good piece come the trade deadline.
Yeah, definitely a good option. Craig Osterberg chimed in. He said Beasley's not going to get any better. I mean, yeah, he definitely didn't show a lot towards the end of last year, but he did show a lot earlier in his career, and if you can just get him that confidence to be that shooter, and obviously we all know the Lakers need their shooters. Let's go to the next side, Mo Bamba. He has a non-guaranteed contract similar to Beasley. The Lakers have until tomorrow to potentially guarantee it. It's $10.3 million. It's a lot of money for someone who, for some reason, fell out of the rotation last year. I thought he was going to actually play a big role. He didn't. Tristan Thompson ended up getting minutes in the playoffs over Mo Bamba. So you kind of feel like the Lakers aren't going to retain him, but at the same time, asset management, $10.3 million is not a big deal. He's definitely a tradable candidate. Yeah. So they have their options. What do you think they do with that $10.3 million non-guaranteed contract?
I mean, yeah, it's interesting because that foot injury kind of just threw everything off for Mo. I felt really bad because I think he would have been really, really good to see as an experiment in those early rounds in the playoffs, see if he could help out AD with all the big men that he went up against. And I mean, his best season came in the 2021 to 2022 season. He played 71 games, 25 minutes a game, 10 points, 8 rebounds. So I mean, yeah, he's solid young big guy. He didn't necessarily pan out to what we thought he was going to be coming out of Texas back in college, but I mean, $10 million, just like Alec was saying, maybe you want to put that towards a couple of vet minimums, maybe look into giving his roster spot to someone else. But I mean, seeing that the big man market is amazing right now, I think he's definitely worth a look. I think that's why Lakers are taking their time trying to see if they'll bring him back. But yeah, I think I'm more so sold on them bringing back Beasley than Mo. I think Beasley has a lot more value right now, even with the way he played in the playoffs.
Send it over to you,
Yeah.
AK.
Yeah, I think I agree with Noel about that. Like, I think Beasley does have more value. I think Bamba theoretically is an awesome kind of piece for LA because he's like ostensibly a 3-and-D center. He can space the floor, but he can also protect the rim. And you know, in the playoffs, the Lakers leaned on like Rui Hachimura and LeBron James to play those backup 5 minutes a lot, and they did a little Wenyen Gabriel. They did a little Tristan Thompson at the end there, but mostly it was like forwards playing center.
Yeah.
So if you actually had a legitimate center, that would be awesome. But like it's a lot of theoretical like availability because he's hurt a lot. He's like a string bean. He's very skinny, and he had that great season, and then he signed like a pretty lucrative deal to stick around in Orlando, and then they flipped him as soon as they could, and he just like couldn't stay healthy for LA. He didn't impress Darvin Ham to the point where he was behind Gabriel, behind Tristan Thompson in the playoff rotation. I don't see a reason to keep him. There's some other options you can get for the minimum or even the biannual exception that we'll talk about, but I just don't see Bamba being a fit.
We got Craig Osterberg saying unless Lakers bring back Tristan Thompson, keep Mo Bamba. I mean, you do look at it, there's not a lot of free agent center options.
Yeah.
The Lakers, they need a center in their lineup. I mean, AD doesn't want to play the 5 all the time. And, you remember back in 2020, JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, this team was better when there was a true center in that lineup next to AD. I honestly don't understand why it wasn't Mo Bamba this past year. I mean, the injury didn't help, but he really felt like a perfect guy. I mean, they made the trade for him. They sent all the second-round picks there. You thought he was going to play a bigger role. He didn't. I guess it's kind of a lost cause if you just not guarantee this contract.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You lose those second-round picks. If you try to bring him back, I don't know. He seems like he's on Darvin Ham's bad side. Something happened there. He doesn't seem like someone who is going to find a role, even though I think he should have had a role on this team, but he does not seem like someone the Lakers have a big future for. And there was a report that he wants to play in Chicago anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
With your boys, you're over there in Chicago. Buddy, quickly, any thoughts on Mo Bamba before we move on to some other free agents?
Yeah, looking at it, I'm on the same boat with you, Noah. I don't know what the hell happened to Mo Bamba come playoff time. I thought he was going to play a huge role, especially in the Western Conference Finals against Nikola Jokic. He didn't play that first game, but I think he was available after that. Don't know what happened, but I believe... Yeah, I mean, why not bring him back? Like you guys said, the center market is not deep. We need another big. I don't know, maybe someone. If you don't get him, I know Brook Lopez could be on the table.
Yeah.
Might get a little too pricey there, but I mean, Mo Bamba, why not, right? I mean, no better options there, so wouldn't be mad at that one as well.
All right, so let's move on to the rest of the Lakers free agents. This is going to be a little more rapid fire stuff because we have a bunch more good stuff to get into. So the Lakers have 6 free agents, like I said. We got D'Angelo Russell. We got Lonnie Walker. We got Dennis Schroeder, Troy Brown Jr., Tristan Thompson, Wenyen Gabriel. So these are kind of the big, obviously the big ones, D'Angelo Russell. We know he's going to be talked about the most. So we're going to start with him, and then we're going to do a little more rapid fire.
Yeah.
But let's start with D'Angelo Russell. And I want to ask you guys, do you think the Lakers have any, I mean, the interest is there to bring him back. Do you think there's a good reason to bring him back? Or you think they should move on from D'Lo and try to get a different point guard?
Yeah, see, the thing with D'Lo is he was the exact opposite of Reeves and Rui Hachimura. See, D'Lo was amazing in the regular season with us when he was healthy. He changed the whole dynamic. He brought a ton of energy to Crypto.com Arena. He gave us a real point guard after the Russell Westbrook era, and that was very much needed. And then you get to the playoffs, little by little, he starts to fizzle out. He has those good moments, but ultimately, when it mattered most against the Denver Nuggets, was nowhere to be found. He was picked apart by Jamal Murray. He was picked apart by really anybody that came his way. Even Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, when they matched up, KCP continued to get the best of him. Bruce Brown coming off the bench.
Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah, and ultimately that's what Laker fans and the front office are looking at is like, when we need you the most in the playoffs, are you going to be that guy for us? And that was something that our own Doug McCain
Yeah,
was very
I was
fearful
going to
of.
bring him up too.
Yeah, he said that once the playoffs roll around, D'Lo ends up on the bench. So it's just a contract situation that is the toughest here with D'Lo. The Lakers don't really gain much by letting him walk,
That's the
unless,
problem.
like you said, unless they let everybody walk and they get under the cap.
Yep.
So he definitely lost a lot of value. If he was able to perform in the playoffs, you're looking at a near max contract again for him. So, I mean, if you could get him maybe on a 3-year, 4-year deal where he's making around a little less towards like $20, $22 million a year, that is ideal. But I feel like there's a little bit of tension there. He was even saying that he didn't like when he was benched
Yeah.
in the playoffs. So,
Understandably.
yeah, we're definitely gonna see what's gonna come of these conversations.
Yeah, we want to get your thoughts in the live stream, in the comment section. Do you guys think the Lakers should bring D'Lo back? We can even talk. Do you think the Lakers, what should they match for Austin Reeves? What should they match for Rui Hachimura? Are they going to match anything? Same with, should they pick up Malik Beasley's option? Should they guarantee Mo Bamba's contracts? We want to get all those in the stream. We'll be talking about those. But Alex, I want to ask you, what do you think D'Angelo Russell's contract is going to look like this offseason? Do you think it's going to be from the Lakers?
I think the Lakers are probably going to try to retain him at a reasonable number. I think they're probably going to overpay him a little bit, but he can still be a valuable trade asset. During the regular season, like Noel said, he was good. He really fell off in the playoffs. Let's just look at the Denver averages were brutal.
Yeah, I mean, he was unplayable in the Denver
Unplayable.
series.
Like less than
Yeah,
20%
Alex,
from
those
three,
are
I believe.
actually you probably have to censor those numbers. Honestly,
Yeah,
they're that bad.
Not safe for work numbers. 6.3 points on 32.3 shooting from the field, 13.3% from deep,
Yeah,
75% from free throw line, whatever. That's good. But still, Dennis Schroeder supplanted him in the lineup. He
Yeah.
started the last game, that crucial game 4, which they almost won. I just don't. I think he's probably worth like $10 million. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't. I
No,
don't
he's
think
not going to. He's going to get more than that.
He's
That's
gonna
the
get
thing.
double that. I think he's gonna get
Uh-huh.
about $20 million. I would love for the Lakers to land him at like $15 million. I don't know what the market is for him because I don't think other people have a lot of value. I think we were talking about this before we started broadcasting, but do other teams like really want D'Angelo Russell? Did they pay attention in the playoffs at all? Like, because if so, like I don't know what they're gonna pay him.
Mhm.
So I think Lakers will keep him and then look to trade him. There's a couple options here because they could extend him before free agency starts, and if they do, then they could trade him right away and like a sign and trade deal with another team. They don't have to worry about a double sign trade where he has to agree to it.
Yeah.
If they wait, then they could do a double sign trade where he agrees to go somewhere else and they
Yeah.
sign a new free agent. But what's most likely is probably they keep him and then they look to deal him December 15th, which would be the earliest they could do that.
It does feel like that's the most likely. We've seen the reports that the Lakers want to bring back D'Angelo Russell, and at the whole asset management stuff, they're gonna operate over the cap anyway. You want to bring your guys back, and that December 15th trade is always an option. Craig Osterberg in the stream says no D'Lo. Pretty harsh on that one, but he doesn't think we should bring him back. Or the Lakers should bring him back. Matt Levine in the stream, he said I'd bring D'Lo back. 4 games were awful, but it's a small sample size. He was good against the Warriors and Grizzlies. Anything under $20 million a year is where I'd like for them to sign him. Yeah, I mean, best case scenario, you get him for less than $20 million, but you got to think. I mean, the guy was an all-star a few years ago. You saw what he did in Brooklyn. You saw what he did in the regular season for the Lakers. It's hard to imagine him getting less than $20 million a year, but probably going to be from the Lakers when it's all said and done. Craig Osterberg with a nice little transition here. So what about Troy Brown Jr.? So like I said, we can go rapid fire on these last few free agents. We'll start with Troy Brown Jr. just quickly. Anyway, he's coming back, or is at the end of him in the Laker uniform?
Man, I always really liked Troy Brown. I always thought he had the physical tools to be really good for LA. I think Darvin Ham gave him multiple chances. I think same as me, he really thought that he was going to be big for them, seeing his height, seeing his length, seeing that he did have games where he was able to hit threes. But I mean, with him, it felt like he would have one good game from the line, and then for the next 4 games, just nothing.
Yeah.
They would keep giving him chances. He would keep getting those corner shots, and he would fall off every now and then. But I mean, because of that, he's not going to be garnering a big deal. He doesn't have a huge market. Other teams, I mean, a team could overpay him, but I think realistic, he'd probably want to stay in LA. So I think if the deal was there, it's a small one. I mean, I would like to have him back. I think still he has a lot of potential within this rotation. And I mean, the Lakers want wings, Rob Pelinka revealed that they want to go after defensive-minded, lengthy, and selfless players. And I think he kind of fits that criteria when he's on.
Yeah, so the Lakers paid him less than $2 million last year. He's sure to get a decent amount more than that this year. Alex, I want to ask you, if the Lakers will only retain one, who's the most likely to be retained? Lonnie Walker, Troy Brown Jr., Dennis Schroeder. Who do you think the most likely to come back?
That's a good question because Dennis Schroeder I think is most important, but Lonnie Walker is had some low-key value in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then Troy Brown Jr. will be the cheapest.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's a good question. I think let's go with Schroeder because I think they can probably get him for the taxpayers mid-level exception, which is $5 million. And I think there's not going to be a crazy market for him, so I think that makes sense for Schroeder. That said, though, Troy Brown Jr. I think he can get for the minimum, so I don't think it's going to be a crazy market for him. He's got a 6'11" wingspan. We've seen the defense. That's why he stayed on the floor. His jumper came and went, but he's got some value as like you could take a flyer on him for nothing, and I think it's worth keeping.
And Dennis wants to stay. Like,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
last season, he was, after he left the Lakers, he couldn't really find like another like exact home. And then he was even on Instagram telling Braun like, run it back. And then
Yeah.
a few weeks later, he got signed. So
Yeah.
there it is.
Love
Craig,
that.
Craig in the stream says Darvin Ham loves Dennis. He
Yeah.
does. They had
We
a, I
all
mean,
do.
and we all do in Dennis. Yeah, I mean, he earned that love. He also asked, how about Bruce Brown from Denver? So that's a really good transition for us, Craig Osterberg, because we're going to talk a little bit about what the Lakers can do outside of their own free agents. If they're an above the cap team, which is most likely what's going to happen, they're going to have the taxpayers mid-level exception at $5 million and the biannual mid-level exception at $4.5 million, and then the vet minimums.
Yeah.
Minimum. That's a hard word to say. So there's not going to be a lot of room to get a big free agent, such as a Bruce Brown, who's going to be significantly higher than that $5 million taxpayers mid-level exception. If they were to be under the cap, they'd have, was it 12.4 million on the mid-level exception, something like
I
that.
believe so,
Yes.
Which could get him a better free
Yeah.
agent, but still not going to be a Bruce Brown. I think he's played himself into a
Yeah.
really nice multi-year contract.
Right.
So I want to ask you guys, $5 million, $4.5 million, who are some names that the Lakers could target with those exceptions to build this roster? Some under the radar signings. We'll start with you, Noel.
I mean, we just saw that Cam Reddish. He's going to be available. and
Long-time Laker target.
Long-time target. We love writing about that on All Lakers, so go check that out. We got a banger dropping real soon. But, I mean, he's coming off a very similar path as Lonnie Walker and Malik Monk were when they signed these type of deals with the Lakers. And, he's kind of just been going back and forth. He's went from the Atlanta Hawks to the New York Knicks to the Blazers. And, I mean, everywhere he goes, people believe in him, but he never necessarily pans out. And he's a Clutch client, I believe, right? Yeah, fact check that. Yeah, okay, cool. And, yeah, so, I mean, the potential is all there. He was coming out of high school. He was viewed as, like, one of the best scorers in his class. He had Anthony Edwards and all kinds of other players saying that he was the toughest guy they ever had to guard. I mean, the skill set is still there. He's really had games where he keyed up at, like, in the fourth quarter, and he could hit threes, and he can do what he does. He gets to the rim. So I think that would be a very interesting name. Another one I like is probably Seth Curry.
Yeah.
Shot 43% from three for his career, been on a number of contenders. Seems like he's always getting bundled up in trade packages. So
Yep.
I think that would be really good for the Lakers right there.
Yeah, Seth Curry's always a target at the Lakers. He's someone I've wanted for the last 5 years at this point. Someone for the Lakers to target. Alex, going over to you. $5 million taxpayer mid-level, $7 million biannual, $4.5 million biannual.
Right.
Who can the Lakers potentially get to fill out this roster a little bit?
I think at the mid-level, I really like Dante DiVincenzo. If they don't do Schroeder, I'm saying DiVincenzo for the Warriors had a pretty good year. He,
Yeah.
what?
No, you're good.
Shout out producer
Sorry,
Brad.
oh, gotcha. Okay. He averaged 9.4 points a game on 43.5% shooting from the field, 39.7% shooting on 5.3 triple attempts, 81.7% from the free throw line. So, and also he rebounded well for his position, 4.5 boards a game, 3.5 assists a game, and 1.3 steals a game. He gives you defense. He's a good cutter off the ball. He can spread the floor, and I guess he would sort of be a Lonnie Walker replacement.
Yeah.
So if they're not going to re-sign Walker, I think DiVincenzo is a great fit. I guess he's a bit of a health risk, but he played 72 games last year, including 36 starts. So I like him. And then, should I keep going?
Give us another one. Give us one more.
Okay, one more. Okay. I think you can probably get this guy for the biannual exception, or maybe even less, because I just like the way I've seen him talked about. It's like people kind of forgot how good he was last year. Yuta Watanabe
Yeah.
from the
Oh,
Nets. That guy
Incredible.
was just automatic from deep. He's big. He's 6'9". He's a 6'9" small forward. He had like a breakout season last year. He shot 44.4% from deep on 2.3 tries.
Yeah.
And for his career, he's a 39% three-point shooter on 1.8 tries a game. And I think that you could probably get him for at least the biannual exception, maybe even the veterans minimum. I love the fit, and I think a big floor spacing wing would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, people want to talk about Utah a lot. So those are 4 good options that the Lakers could get on these exceptions. I mean, you think with the Lakers, they've kind of surprised the last few off seasons getting Lonnie Walker. I feel like no one really saw that one coming, getting Malik Monk the year before. And even before that, when they kind of signed Montrezl Harrell out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, like these kind of things, they're just happening. So definitely can see the Lakers making some of these moves. And they're going to need to, because right now they only have 6 players on the roster. Let's shift over quickly, because we're going long here today. We're having some fun with this mega preview. Let's quickly. Do you see the Lakers potentially making a sign and trade? D'Angelo Russell's probably the best asset to do that. Do you think that's going to happen this offseason, or is this more of a sign your own guy, sign some other guys, and maybe make an actual trade, not a sign and trade?
Yeah, I think Rob Pelinka is going to roll with what he said, in his press conference yesterday with their newest rookies. I think they're going to stick to the main core. They're going to try to make marginal upgrades, and they're just going to probably re-sign D'Lo. And if anything, when that December 15th date hits, that's when they'll assess his play from the first couple months and decide if they're going to keep him for the rest of his contract or part ways with him. I think we're not going to see any huge trades from the Lakers this offseason.
Yeah, sign and trade Alex, or not really?
I mean, I think that's right. I think that's what's going to happen, but I've got some ideas.
All
for
right,
sign and trade.
we love ideas.
Okay. So one is Fred VanVleet from the
Yeah.
Raptors. He's 29. He was an All-Star in 2022. But he's probably going to get like close to the most that he could possibly offer, which is $40.2 million a year.
It's the Rockets who said they wanted to offer FVV that. Yeah.
Yeah, supposedly a 2-year, $80 million
80,
deal.
yep.
But I think assuming that that's the bidding price, he agrees to that money, and then we would have to sign D'Lo to something good, like $20 million.
High, yeah.
Package Beasley, we'd have to keep Beasley in this scenario. That's $16.5 million. Then we'd trade either Jalen Hood-Schifino or Shifino.
Yeah, Shifino, yeah.
Jalen Hood-Schifino and a future second, maybe, if we can get away with it. And that money would work out. And we'd flip those guys for like a major upgrade, a good defensive point guard, and a great shooter and scorer. And he's younger than, he's older than D'Lo, but he's younger than like Kyrie Irving or James Harden or whatever. He's still like around his prime. And so I really like his hypothetical fit, but he would be expensive and it would limit what else the Lakers could do with their roster. Two other ideas. Gabe Vincent from the Heat just came off a really great run to the finals with the Heat, probably their third best player overall because Caleb Martin really fell off in the finals. Yeah, so that would be like a more complicated thing. Assuming that they don't extend D'Lo, we're talking like a double sign and trade. They're similar value, but I think Vincent's the better player. It depends on how the Heat feel, but you probably have to throw in something. If it's Jalen Hood-Schifino or if it's a future draft pick in 2029 or 2030, something lottery protected, of course, to the Heat. Another one is, this is a bigger thing, you would retain Dennis Schroeder as your starter. You would have Austin Reeves do more playmaking, and then you would do a double sign trade again. You'd flip D'Lo for one of the top power forward candidates. You let Hachimura walk. You get Kuzma or Jeremy Grant or Harrison Barnes.
That's an interesting one. That's a really interesting one. Well, this right here is why you should go to alllakers.com because you get this type of analysis on alllakers.com. That last one is an interesting one.
Fun, right?
Let go of Rui, bring in a power forward. I mean, Kuzma coming back, Jeremy Grant's a great option. That's an interesting one. Quick last few questions. We're going to go potential non-sign and trade. Do you see the Lakers making a trade this offseason? And if so, is there someone that you think they could target?
Yeah, like I said, I think if they were to just do a straight up trade, it'd be something very small. I think like Alex said, packaging some picks, maybe bringing back Malik Beasley and Mo Bamba, and then just sending them off in a deal for something. I don't see anything too crazy.
It's not finally year we got Buddy Hield.
No. I think, like you said, when the Pacers made that draft day trade for their first round pick, that kind of shut it down. I'll still be very open to a Miles Turner and Buddy Hield package.
We all would.
Yeah.
But no, I think, like I said, Lakers probably going to keep it simple.
Yeah. Any non-sign and trade trades you think the Lakers could come up with? Or, I mean, you just gave us a lot of good options.
Yeah,
so honestly,
Interesting. I don't know. I like the Hield thing. I mean, Beasley for Hield, and you throw in a pick. You throw in Hood-Schifino, or you throw in a future first. Lottery protected. I don't know, because like Hield doesn't give you anything on defense.
Yeah.
But he's a great 3-point shooter. He's a massive upgrade over Beasley. So I don't know. I guess it's kind of depends on what they want to do.
And I don't think Lakers to trade Schifino.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that dude's gonna be huge for the future. But that's one other video. We'll do a whole
other
Jalen
video.
Schifino and Maxwell Lewis. And
we got a lot coming on those guys. All right, let's just quickly end with some predictions. Don't have to be bold. I want your predictions. Give me like 3 things the Lakers are doing this offseason. Buddy, I'm going to get you in on this too, so make sure you're thinking a little bit. And it could be simple stuff. It doesn't have to. You could throw some bold stuff in there. We like bold. But what do you expect this Lakers offseason to look like, with free agency starting in about 49 hours from now?
All right, I'm gonna start off with something we haven't talked about yet. I think Kevin Love and LeBron James reunite.
Oh.
I think Kevin Love makes his way to LA. He had some pretty solid moments with Miami Heat in the playoffs on their run to the NBA Finals, so that's a little more of a bold one right there. I think, like I said, Austin Reeves is going to re-sign for around $90 million, and I think D'Lo returns on a 2-year deal.
So we got Austin Reeves, which is an obvious, I'd say. D'Angelo Russell returns. It's a good one. And then the big one, Kevin Love
Kevin Love.
reunion. I like that. I mean, Kevin Love showed that he could still play last year in the postseason with the Heat. He had some decent runs. So, you know he's friends with LeBron. You know LeBron likes playing with his friends. Alex,
True.
we're going to go over to you.
Let's see. Okay. I say they keep Reeves at whatever cost it takes. They keep Rui, and they keep Schroeder. Okay, you want me to predict like a signing? I guess.
Yeah, give me another
Yeah,
one.
give us
Sure.
a new
All
player.
All right. Maybe they can steal like one of these sort of interesting centers, like Mason Plumlee for the Clippers or Jack Landale from the Suns. Maybe. Suns are just
Yeah,
catch the
who knows what's
nines.
going on over there?
Right,
Noah,
so,
give
like,
us yours too.
Yeah, I mean, my number one, that's Austin Reeves. I think he's coming back. Number two, I do think D'Angelo Russell is going to come back. And then I'm gonna go out on the limb. I'm gonna say Cam Reddish finds his way in Los Angeles. I'm gonna say
Finally.
he gets that taxpayers mid-level exception. I think he comes, and I think he saw what they did, with Malik Monk 2 years ago, Lonnie Walker. Buddy, we're gonna go over to you. Let's hear what you think the Lakers should do. Let's go back to that center, Cam, buddy.
Oh yeah, my bad. Sorry about that.
All right, no worries. All right, let's say, buddy. So predictions for the Lakers.
They get D. Lopez, but not the one you're thinking of. They get Robin
Robin.
Lopez from the Cleveland Cavaliers. And there's another reunion. Former Cavs player, Jeff Green.
Oh, bring back
Oh.
Uncle Jeff.
Yeah,
over to
Uncle Jeff,
LA.
the one who cooked us in the Western
Yeah.
Conference
NBA
Finals from time to
champion.
time. That's right. And maybe someone like Max Strus.
Okay,
I'd like to
yeah.
see Max
Okay.
Strus
He's gonna
coming
have a
back.
market. He's definitely gonna have
Yeah.
a market.
Yeah, he'll be expensive.
Yeah, he'll be. I mean, here's what I like. This is kind of, we got the rumors or the reports this year that LeBron is not going to be involved in the offseason. You
Yeah.
guys see those ones?
Right.
And now we got Noel saying we're going to get a LeBron friend. We got Buddy saying we're going to get some LeBron friends. So clearly, we all think that's LeBron's not going to be
Yeah.
as
He's gonna have his
uninvolved.
fingerprints in
Yeah,
there
he's gonna
somehow.
have his fingerprints all over as he always does. That's going to do it for this episode of the Lakers 248 Roundtable podcast. But remember, in 2 days from now, free agency is going to be live, and we're going to be live to break it all down. So we want to see you back in the stream. As always, I'm Noah Cameras. To my left, here's Noel Sanchez. Follow him at Noise by Noel. To my right, Alex Kirschenbaum. Read his work at SportsIllustratedAllLakers.com. And over on the camera, Mr. Buddy, producer Buddy,
Yes, sir,
Ricardo
yes, sir.
Buddy Sandoval.
Yes,
Follow
sir.
him at, I think I'm going to get this one right, at _ Ricardo Sand.
Yes, sir.
Got that one right. Follow him on Twitter. I'm
Follow
Noah
Noah
Cameras.
Cameras on
Noah
Twitter.
You can follow
Cameras,
me
the
at
one and
Noah
only.
Cameras. Free agency is going to be fun. We're going to be here, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video. Make sure you're always in the live stream commenting, and make sure you turn on that notification bell so you know when we go live. Again, we're going to be live at 3 p.m. on Friday to live react, breakdown the free agency, so we want to see you there. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you read alllakers.com, and until next time,
Go Lakers.